Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Yesterday, when I had only the 11th ever 30-dime college football play of my career on Memphis, an 11-point favorite at home, and when I turn on the TV and I see the Tigers are trailing early in that contest 10-0 against SMU, I was a little concerned. And yes, I did mutter a couple of my favorite profanities. Maybe a couple more than a couple. But I wasn't that worried. I really wasn't. Because listen, guys, I have watched SMU enough this season, and SMU has burned me once this season. I knew how bad the Mustangs' defense was. And I also knew another thing. Memphis was going to be in a nonstop attack mode for 60 minutes. And it wasn't the Memphis aerial attack that I was counting on. And listen, Riley Ferguson, good as he is, I knew he was going to put points on the board. But if you got my analysis in that game, I thought the key in that contest for the Memphis Tigers was going to be the ground game, because SMU had given up at least 203 yards rushing in 5 consecutive games. And coming off a tough physical game at Navy the week before, a game in which the midshipman second-string quarterback ran for over 280 yards, I thought that Memphis would simply wear down that undersized SMU defense in the second half. And that's exactly what I was counting on, and that's exactly what happened as Memphis broke the game open with 3 unanswered touchdowns in the fourth quarter to eventually pull away in a slugfest and get the win and cover. And that 30-dime play cashes in, and you got it as the half-price play of the day. Now, you guys know I'm a believer that when you're on a roll, you press the action. And today, I'm going to do it once more. Because today, there's another game on the board. I was coming strong on this game. If I won yesterday, there was nothing going to stop me. And it's another 30-dime play, another ultra-rare 30-dime release, this time in the NFL. And it goes at 1 o'clock Eastern. I'm calling it my mismatch of the year. Over the past 6.5 seasons, I'm 11-4 with NFL 30-dime releases. It was 2 Sundays ago today. I had my first one since January of 2015 when I told you to ride the Dallas Cowboys, a 2.5-point favorite at home against Kansas City, and they won that game 28-17. You got that play for half price, just like yesterday's play. The same thing goes. It's the half price play of the day simply by using coupon code HALF, and it's just as strong as yesterday's winner on Memphis. It's twice as strong as last Sunday's winner on the Rams, a 13-point favorite, 33-7 over the Houston Texans. And you might recall that that play was going to be a 30-dime release, but I had to downgrade it because I had pushed the day prior with a play on Arizona against Oregon State. So that's one of the featured plays going today. The other big featured play going today would have to be Chris Jordan, who has the 8th ever triple your wager 3,000-star NFL release in his 35-year career. He has a perfect 7 for 7 with these releases, the most recent one being the Patriots over the Steelers in the AFC Championship game last January. And this play matches his 3,000-star triple-year wager winner on Clemson over Alabama in the national championship game, matches his 3,000-star winner with North Carolina over Gonzaga in the title game, the men's basketball tournament, 3 times stronger than the Super Bowl winner on the Patriots as well. And you get it for over half price off by using coupon code Chris. Remember, Chris Jordan has $1 bettors up over $58,000 over the past 360 days, over almost a 1-year period dating back to right around last Thanksgiving. This incredible record-setting run started for Chris Jordan. And the other big featured play goes today from Matt Rivers, who yesterday, his first blank check release in college football, scored not the way I thought that game would play out, because I used it as a complimentary play, and it was LSU over Tennessee, but he got the win. He's 2 for 2 so far with blank check releases in the NFL so far this season. One of them was the Cowboys over Washington 3 Sundays ago. The other one, remember that one? The Rams, 51-17 over the Giants 2 Sundays ago. His 14th ever blank check NFL release. He's a charter member of the site. 15 and a half years ago, he joined the site. 14th ever blank check game It's the marquee game tonight. It's the Eagles and Cowboys. You get it for over half price off by using coupon code BLANK, BALNK. All your other coupon codes, etc., are over on the homepage. Let's get to your complimentary plays. I'm going to start with the Lions and the Bears. Lions 3-1 on the road, coming off a comeback win against Cleveland at home, 38-24. And of course, listen, I'm looking at the Bears team. Everybody was on the Bears last week. Excuse me. I'm getting all choked up talking about Chicago. And it was a game in which they were a rare favorite, and they couldn't hold the water, right? They lose that game 23-16 at home as a 5-point choice against the Green Bay Packers. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford's on quite a little roll here. Against the Browns, 17 for 26, 249 yards and 3 touchdowns. The week prior against the Packers in Lambeau, 26 for 33, 361 yards and 2 touchdowns. Before that, in the home loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 27 for 45, 423 yards. But let's remember, the Detroit Lions' biggest problem all season long remains their inability to get the points in the red zone. They're just an awful team when it comes to red zone scoring. On the other side of the coin, however, you've got a Chicago Bears team that is so one-dimensional. They can run the ball effectively, but with the rookie quarterback, you just don't know what you're going to get in the passing game. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, but I think it's a fairly priced game. I like Detroit here, minus the 3. I'm obviously going to go ahead and buy down the half point with the Lions, who I think, after a so-so first half of the season, I think this is a good spot to jump on Detroit. I'm going to buy down the half point, as I said. Again, Detroit 3-1 on the road. I think their defense is going to be able to get to Mitchell Trubisky in this one. He was sacked 5 times by the Packers, and I like the Lions in this particular spot. You've got the New England Patriots playing in Mexico City. Second straight week they're going to be playing in altitude, and what a lot of people don't realize, that last week, of course, they played in Denver. Do you realize that Mexico City at 7,280 feet is actually over 2,000 feet higher in terms of altitude than in Denver? But I think that plays to the to the Patriots' advantage. Listen, these guys are going to be sucking air, okay? And it certainly plays to the Patriots' advantage, having played in Denver last week as opposed to the Raiders coming into this situation. A lot of people say, oh, well, the Raiders played in Mexico City last year. Yeah, well, that was last year. Patriots, at least from an athletic standpoint, I think their bodies will be a little more climate adjusted, shall we say, for this contest than the Raiders will. Bottom line is this: Denver is 4-0 on the road this season, and this much maligned defense has really gotten its act together. During its 5-game winning streak, the Patriots have not allowed any more than 17 points in any single one of those victories. Now, compare that to the first 4 games of the season, when in 3 of those 4 games they allowed over 33 points a game. Is it because the quality of the competition has dropped? Maybe. Or is it because the Patriots have suddenly gotten their act together defensively? I think it's a little blend of both. Listen, you got Tom Brady with 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season, coming off a 266-yard, 3-touchdown performance in the walkover of the Broncos last week. You got a Raiders pass defense that statistically is right there near the bottom in the NFL, but you have to dig deeper in the number, and you look that the Raiders have just 13 sacks on the season. So Tom Brady ought to be sitting back in that pocket and going, Gronk, where you at? You know, he's going to be able to sit there and find any receiver he wants. They have 0 interceptions. That's right. Oakland has 0 interceptions. And that secondary has been scorched for 14 touchdowns this season. Sure, the Patriots pass defense, if you look at the numbers at NFL.com and the team statistics, you see the Patriots dead last in pass defense. But again, you have to look at some of the hot quarterbacks they faced early in the season. And I think if you were to break down those numbers and look at the split, first 4 games versus the last 5 games, you see a Patriots defense that has certainly gotten better against the pass. Plus, Patriots, you know, they've come up with some turnovers here. You have a Raiders team that's coming off a bye. Before that, they had to hold on for dear life to stop Jay Cutler and the Dolphins in the 27-24 win. But before that, remember how they laid the egg in Buffalo as the Bills rolled over them 34-14? This is a team that lost 16-10 at Denver, lost 27-10 at Washington. 2-5 in their last 7 after a 2-0 start. So I like the Patriots minus the 7 points in this contest. And finally, let's talk about the Eagles and the Cowboys here tonight. Obviously, huge Eagles fan, okay? So it's a difficult situation because, I always say you have to bet with your head and not with your heart. But I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at a 6-point line. The Eagles are coming off a bye. I wish they weren't coming off a bye because this was a well-oiled, fine-tuned machine, the Eagles' offense before that bye. And you got to hope that carries on here tonight. I look at what happened to the Cowboys last week at Atlanta, and it's a 27-7 loss. And it wasn't all because Ezekiel Elliott was out. They had all types of problems. And, it was a game last week that I really thought about using the Cowboys. And I got myself off the Cowboys and on the Rams last week for one reason. When I read in Dallas Morning News that their all-pro starting left tackle, Tyron Smith, was going to miss the game. And I thought, I don't care what team you're playing for, but when your left tackle is an all-pro and you're going to miss the game, that's troubling for a quarterback. And you saw what happened as his replacements allowed Dak Prescott to be sacked 8 times in that game. And listen, the Falcons' pass rush is nothing. Well, the Eagles' defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, he loves to blitz you in his sleep. So I got to think Prescott, although a very mobile quarterback, is going to feel the heat tonight of the Eagles pass rush. You got an Eagles team that's playing with so much confidence. You got an Eagles team offensively that's averaging 32 points a game. Carson Wentz is having a hell of a season, but then they go out and get Jay Ajayi right before their last game. He has a nice debut. They have the bye week to acclimate him more to the offense. You already have LeGarrette Blount, right? So you got a strong 1-2 punch now with both north-south runners in the backfield to complement the strong passing game. You got Ertz, the tight end, Zach Ertz, who missed a game prior to the bye week because of a hamstring injury, who's going to be back in action. He's been a Cowboy killer for years, right? And he is Carson Wentz's favorite target. You got a Cowboys team that has a number of injuries. I think the most significant one of all is that their linebacker, Sean Lee, who is the guy who is probably the most significant player on that Cowboys D when it comes to stopping the run. He was the reason that I used the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago as that 30-dime release when I backed them against the Kansas City Chiefs, because I thought the Chiefs would not be able to run effectively with Lee anchoring the defense. When they lost those couple of big games at home earlier this season, they couldn't stop Todd Gurley. They couldn't stop the Packers from running the ball. Lee was on the sideline with a hamstring injury. Well, now he's out again, and that's one of the reasons that I used them against the Chiefs, because Lee was back and healthy. He is like the spiritual guru that leads that Cowboys defense. With him out today, I just think the Eagles are going to be able to run wild. So I think all those are contributing factors. But you always have to factor in the Cowboys. Dallas is a desperate team. They need that win today. It's a 6-point line. I think that's in recognition of the fact that Dallas is a desperate team, but I don't see this being a close game. I think the Eagles could win this one rather handily. Could it be a close game? Yeah, maybe. But listen, I'm going to watch this as a fan. I just cannot fathom putting my money on it as an Eagles fan and having to sit there and go through that agony. Plus, I think my best bet is actually going at 1 o'clock, obviously. No ifs, ands, or buts. I love the 1 o'clock game. This one I'm going to watch as a fan. But I have to be honest with you. If I win the 1 o'clock game, I may put a little money here on the Eagles, but I do like the Eagles a lot in this one minus the 6 points. So again, I like the Eagles, the Lions, and your other complimentary play is going to be on the New England Patriots. And that'll do it for Sunday. And talk to you again on Monday when we do this one more time.